Welcome to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Joyous conversations about what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about our one reality. You have nothing to fear. You are eternal and you are perfectly loved. Knowing the truth changes everything. Now, here's Roberta.
Welcome to Seek Reality. I'm Roberta Grimes, and I am so happy you could be with us today. Oh, my dear ones, I tend not to be very good with mediums. I'm a skeptic by nature. I went through a period when I tested a lot of mediums, and so with the people that I love would hope would come through were kind of sick of me and mediums, so they tend not to come through, and that makes it even worse. But today we have a wonderful, genuine medium as a guest, and she's a dear friend of mine besides. So I think this is going to be extra special, wonderful. Carolyn Molnar is with us on Seek Reality for the 7th time. She is an excellent psychic medium, and she's based in Toronto, Canada. Now, Carolyn is an excellent psychic medium, and the fact that she has such a long experience with mediumship, 45 years, something like that, makes her especially good at it because she's had such a broad experience in doing readings for all kinds of people in all kinds of situations. She's even worked at Lilydale in New York, which is a very, very, very sort of a psychic-friendly place. She teaches classes on mediumship and psychic development. She's led workshops all across Canada and also at Lilydale. She's highlighted in the books Psychics and Mediums in Canada and Medium 7, Evidence of the Afterlife and Predictions. She's been profiled in at least 3 national Canadian newspapers. She also wrote, produced, and directed a wonderful one-woman play called What? You're a Medium? Which I love that title. And after she did that, she also wrote that up recently as a book, which is lovely. And she just about has done everything you can imagine in this field by now. She's she teaches a lot, which helps to grow interest in mediumship. And all of this is detailed on her website, which is conveniently called carolynmolnar.com. She's written a book, actually 2 books. One of them, a wonderful book which I've read, was Compassionate Messenger, True Stories from a Psychic Medium. And she's just about done everything I think that you could do by now. She's released 3 guided meditation CDs. Her YouTube channel has more than 600 videos, and it's attracted thousands, 17,000, I think, more than that by now, subscribers. My dear and beautiful friend, Carolyn, welcome. It's lovely to have you back again.
Thank you for having me. It's such a treat. Thank you.
We get to just sit around and talk. Isn't that beautiful? We don't have to please anyone. We don't have to go anywhere especially. We can just talk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What I love about talking with you is that you're so frank about your skills. You're so frank about what it's like to be a medium. And I just like to go wherever the mood takes us.
Sure. Well, you mentioned Compassionate Messenger, and that is a compilation of some of the experiences that I've had over the course of many years. My husband is a professional editor, writer, and he co-wrote the book with me and went on all the journeys with me with regards to the stories that are in the book. I had somebody I read for a young woman just this past week, and she starts off with saying, "Oh, thank you, Carolyn. Thank you so much." And I haven't done anything yet, right? She's so sweet. And she said, "Carolyn, I just have to tell you, my mother bought the book, Compassionate Messenger. And, I was feeling really down. I knew she lost her sister at a young age, and she's not much older than her. It was only a few years ago. And she said, this book really helped me with my grieving. It just gave me hope that she would be okay. And I'm just so grateful that you wrote the book." And I'm thinking, my goodness, how long has it been since this book was published? and it's still, notable today. It's still viable. And I was so honored that she'd even just take the time to tell me that, the purpose for this book was met with her comments, that I just want to help people, feel better about the whole process of passing and what happens after, and, some of the people, how they've coped with their grief. And they're just some really poignant, beautiful stories that I could never have written without them. There was one gal, her name is Lindsay, and she was quite young as well. We met her parents, beautiful people, and they just wanted to tell her story. And my sister had told them that I was writing a book, and they wanted to get in touch because they wanted to immortalize their daughter somehow. And she's in the book, and just her story about, who she was, what happened to her, and how things worked out. She was very young. She was in her mid-20s when she passed away. And I don't think that there's any pain worse than losing a child, because you never, ever expect that to happen. And these people were so much in grace with what had happened to them. It was really quite poignant. Sometimes I get a little choked up talking about it.
Yes, yes.
But, there are stories like that. I remember meeting a group of women in Lilydale. I was at the stump and I was giving messages during a service, and they came up to me later and said, "Oh, you're from Canada. So are we. We're from Ottawa, which is about 4.5 hours away from Toronto. We want to come and see you." And I'm thinking, oh my God, 4.5 hours coming to see you. Oh, no, we'll make it a weekend. There's a group of us. We're in a circle together. We've all lost our children, and we all just want to come and meet with you. Well, what a party that was. I'm telling you, the kids were all over the place. It was so evidential. It was so much fun. They left smiling. They were just, they had gone through their grief, for the most part. And so any of this that I gave them was like gravy. Like it was just, we know this. Yeah, we know this. Yeah, we know this. And, it was just so special to share their parenthood and their children in spirit. It was just magical. So
you were able to give them a lot of evidence from their kids.
Yeah, that's very important. I'm not going to, your grandmother's here and she wants to say hello. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
She has a chipped tooth. She's about 5'2". She's got an apron around her. She made great apple pie. I want to get down to that.
Yes.
The other day I was reading for somebody and said, "What is this about a car wash? Your husband is going on and on about a car wash." And it turns out their son, he's in spirit. Their son had a rough night, like partying and stuff like that, and she had to get the car to the car wash. Ooh. So I would assume that he was there with her, And it's the minutia that makes the difference,
Oh, tiny things, little things.
Mm-hmm.
And things that, especially that only maybe the two of them would have really known were significant.
Mm-hmm.
That blows your mind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there I was I used to be really skeptical because so many people would say things like, "Oh, your mom was here. Oh, she was funny. She had a good sense of humor." Well, that's like everybody's mom,
So what turned you around, Roberta? Why are you not a skeptic anymore?
Well, eyebrows.
Your mother's eyebrows, right?
My mother didn't have any eyebrows. And that embarrassed her. So she would paint these big, thick with paint eyebrows on. And I could show you the picture. You would immediately say, "Oh, why did she do that?" But she did. She just did. And a medium, and this was not long after my mother had transitioned, a medium said, "Oh, your mother's here." Oh, yeah, your mother, why is she painting at her eyebrow? I said, oh, okay, let's hear this. And she said, oh, she doesn't have to paint them on anymore. Okay.
Oh,
That was pretty clear.
that was a dead ringer.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
so much. I mean, it was good that she was pointing at her eyebrows because that's what she would have done. But the
Mhm.
fact that she says she doesn't have to paint them on anymore,
Mhm.
that was what did it for me. Actually, for all time, for all mediums.
You know, I what keeps going on in my head is too bad she didn't know anything about tattoo artists because now they tattoo eyebrows on to people who don't have any or very little of them anymore. It's quite the thing.
Yeah, yeah. But
Hmm.
this was, many years ago
Yeah,
that my
yeah.
mother was
Ahead of the
doing.
time, right?
Yeah, but many mediums, as you know, to some extent are faking it,
Yeah,
or they're guessing
yeah.
broad. And
Unfortunately, with every type of work that you're going to have those people. But what's really frustrating is this with this work, there's so much vulnerability with a client. You just can't be that way, you know?
no,
And
no,
I've seen
that's right.
mediums, I never want to get to this point that they have been very good, very, very good. But you know, you get tired, you're older, your brain isn't working the same anymore, and they're just not there. They're just not with that pinpoint
And
accuracy.
everybody has a bad day. I
Yeah.
mean, and so then you say, okay, this is not my best day. That's all. And then
Mm-hmm.
maybe you say, come back another day or something. I
Hmm.
mean,
Or you
every,
know to retire because you should be.
yeah,
Right? Yeah.
maybe that's the case.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but I had had readings like you. I've had readings with wonderful mediums. There
Oh,
are very good mediums
yeah.
and natural, very gifted
Hmm.
mediums. And they're, I think that one reason that gifted mediums like you are so gifted is that they don't fake it. They, they will say, I'm not having a good day, and I'm happy to give your money back. I only gave you a little bit. And most people aren't going to give they're not going to say, oh, I want my money back. I mean, they'll say, I got a little here, I got a little there, and that was great.
Hmm.
I only
Hmm.
needed that one, that one bit of evidence. That
Hmm.
gave me a whole afternoon of readings, as far as I'm concerned, from that one medium. Most mediums, if they give you one or two great pieces of evidence about your family, I don't care what else they say, they're real.
Yeah. And
You
I
know
have
they
to
can do
quote
it.
you from the last time we talked. I wrote it down because I thought it was so important. You may not get what you want, you get what you need.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
true. That's
Yeah.
absolutely true.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Is there anything else that you want to talk to me about?
What I'd like you to do is to tell people listening when you first understood you had this gift.
Hmm. Okay. Well, first of all, it runs in our family. Uh,
Always does. That's
yeah.
a very important point. Often it runs on both sides, but at least it runs pretty strongly on one side.
Well, it was both sides. I had
Okay.
hope.
I'm not surprised at
Yeah.
all. I've never asked you this question either. I mean, it just
Yeah,
seems so
well,
natural with
it's
you.
quite a storied answer. My grandparents on my mom's side, her parents were barber and hairdresser, and they worked out of their own home. And my grandmother had Jenny Wilder as a client. Now, Jenny Wilder was a well-known medium and actually was one of the mediums who worked with our Prime Minister, Mackenzie King.
Hmm.
And she was so entrenched that she actually was seeing spirit like I see you. I don't want that. I asked for that once and spirit said, we turn that on, we can't turn it off. Are you sure? I said, no, I want to live my human life. Thank you.
Right, right.
So, there's that. They used to go to Lilydale as well, from Montreal, which is really a long trip. It's 6 hours to Toronto and then another 2 hours 2.5 hours to Buffalo. So yeah, they really committed to their spirituality. And on my father's side, my grandfather, was Irish and, very much believed in this work and used to see, a psychic who lived in the neighborhood weekly. I would never recommend that. You got to live your life. And you know what? It's going to be the same thing over and over again. Don't waste your money. Wait, give yourself plenty of time. And the other thing too is when somebody passes away, give yourself at least 3 months.
At least, yes. Yes, absolutely.
Because they have to get used to where they are. And you have to get through a good part of the grief because it's like a heavy cloak around you. It's hard to get through. And I've had readings that were really milquetoast and I've said to spirit, why? And they said that's all they could handle at the time. So it's good to wait. But anyways, back, so I had both sides of the family.
Let's emphasize that, dear.
Sure.
If someone dies, give them at least 3 months.
Yes. Reasoning is if they were ill, say they had a long illness, their energy is low. They have not the energy to properly live in the spirit world. I remember my mentor saying they go to something like a hospital to regenerate.
Very often, that's what they do. They go right to a spirit hospital.
Yeah.
And they have to be cared for and strengthened and healed. Yes, absolutely right.
The other is belief system. So if they believe that there's nothing and they're going nowhere and, they're unavailable, they will be until they figure it out. Their spirit guides stay with them. So it's not like they're abandoned or anything. It's their belief system that has to change. And that comes from their own free will. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
The other one is, my God, I've just come to a new country. What's the language? Where's the grocery store? Where I'm going to live? Where's the bank? I got to get myself acclimated. Yeah.
Yes.
So and what happens mainly is that we come through our dream state initially. So they're like visitations where there are dreams that it's real. And what happens is we go home 3 to 5 times a week in our dream state. It's normal because we are spirit having a human experience. So home is really there, not here. And we'll meet up with our loved ones. And I remember meeting up with my mentor and saying, why are you here? You're dead. And that was the end of the dream. So you got to be really careful. But you remember these dreams for the most part. If not, you ask to remember. Yeah. So anyways, that's why you don't hear from them right away. And you need to give them time and yourself time. You've had a shock. You've had a loss. Take care of you. Now, I've always felt that grief counseling is very, very important step for a lot of people. But I've been contradicted by saying, Carolyn, listening to you for a half an hour has been so much better than all the grief counseling I've had. Why? Because they just want to know their people are okay. That's really what they want to know. Are they alone? Do they hurt anymore? Are they with anybody? And all those answers give them a sense of peace. So, I guess it goes hand in hand. I still feel grief counseling is an important aspect. Mediumship is after,
Exactly right. Perfectly said. Give them 3 months. And if you think that they probably had to spend a little time in a hospital, they needed to be cared for, give them 4 months.
Yeah.
But give them time.
Or intrinsically when it's right, it's the right time. And then don't see me for another 6 months. It's going to be the same thing again, or they may not show up. I told you that already kind of thing. I don't have a lot to tell you, that kind of thing. So I just say, don't rely on a medium, take care of you in your own way. So find your social networks and be with your friends. And if you need to go to church, go to church. If you need counseling, do that. Don't spend it all on a medium. Truly, it becomes a crutch, and then you don't live your life anymore. And that's not serving others. Right?
Or find very happy things you can do for other people.
Yep.
sometimes that's the kind of thing you can do for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's,
Find service for others. Like, how can I help you?
yes.
Humanity. How can I help humanity? It may be opening doors for people who are saying hello and give them a smile or something. I remember I was with, at the grocery store, and this cashier, I liked her. I used to come in and go to her when I was cashing out. And I said, "Hey, and how are you today?" And she said, "You know what? You're the first person who asked me that."
Oh, my darling, that's so
Yeah.
sad.
It doesn't take much to make somebody's day.
It really doesn't.
No.
It really doesn't.
And
Yeah.
I'm now working at a food bank, and that makes me very happy.
Yeah.
Ah, so I have my people, and they're so happy to see me, and it's just nice to put a smile on people's faces,
Be a bright light
Yeah. It's
wherever
easy.
you can go.
It's not
Yeah.
special. It's really not special. Just think of how you can help. That's all.
Yeah. In beautiful, beautiful ways.
Hmm. As humans, we try to complicate everything, don't we, Roberta?
Yeah.
I think the more complicated it is, the more important it is. Not really. No, no.
But there are so many ways to brighten people's day. And the more that you think of those little ways and add those little ways, especially if you're not feeling like doing it because you've had a loss. But you don't know, other people might have had a loss too. And if you can brighten other people's day, it really does brighten yours.
Yeah. And it becomes normal
Yeah.
because it's what you do, you know?
Hmm.
How do you create a habit? Do it for 30 days, and then it becomes just part of your DNA.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. So, yeah.
But all right, so we were saying, after 30, after after 3 months perhaps, go to a medium. And then, you could make it something you do every 3 months if you want it to be. If not, once is enough.
Yeah. Once you get,
Um,
yeah. And I also, on my YouTube channel, I have a playlist called Signs from Spirit. And I often tell my clients, go watch those videos. There's about 18 to 20 of them. They may be repetitious. I haven't gone back to the list in a long time. And it's what you look for because it's so darn subtle that you don't know
some of
it's
them are
them.
very subtle. Yes.
Although I had something that was very unsubtle, and that was I went to my car, opened up the door, and on it is an American penny on the driver's seat. And I went, where'd that come from? I'm Canadian. I don't have any American money.
Plus, we don't print them anymore. So now you don't find those randomly anymore, even here.
Yeah. And there it was. And I knew that was a gift from Spirit. Not quite sure from whom, but I accepted it. And I thought, oh, I've got a guardian angel when it comes to driving.
Yes, that's true. That's really special.
Yeah, you just got to watch for the signs. That one's pretty in your face, but there are other much more subtle things that you can watch for. Once Spirit knows that you recognize it, they'll do it more often.
Yes, do little things for you.
Mhm.
Absolutely right.
Not scary things. Your loved ones don't want to scare you. I've had clients, so funny, they'll say, I just want to see an apparition of my loved one. And then they do, and then they're scared out of their minds, right? First of all, that is so difficult. And it's usually ghosts that do that, not spirit. And ghosts are those who are still on the earth plane, who've decided they want to stay here, or they don't know that they've passed a spirit, like in a car accident where they think, my God, how did I manage to get through that? And then go home and nobody's listening to them. Um,
But then they never did before either. So,
yeah, so it's really quite funny what they expect, and it just doesn't work that way. It's no full on apparition. Just no. Mm-mm.
yeah, it's something that actually warrants repeating. some people, especially young people, will flirt with the idea of spooky ghosts. Um, if they've been watching, say, a scary movie, they'll say, "Oh, maybe it would be fun to see an apparition, see a ghost." Don't ever do that.
No, don't play with that. That you are playing with fire. And the other one is a Ouija board. Don't ever, ever use a Ouija board. That brings in everything. And you have to think of it this way. There are different levels of spirit. The playful, game-like people, spirit people, you don't want them around. The tricksters. And they come through Ouija boards. And they stick to you. They don't leave you. And it can cause a lot of trouble. So, no, don't do that. Mm-mm.
People, especially young people who like scary movies, sometimes think that it might be fun to play with those scary guys.
No, it
but
isn't.
It would never be fun because you can't ever get rid of them. And sometimes they've attached themselves to a house, and there have been cases where the house had to be taken down.
Yeah.
Salt the earth. You don't want to do that.
No. Well, you call in a demonologist, believe it or not. And we have one in our area, and she's so darn busy that I can't get her to do anything because she's so darn busy.
That's scary to know.
It is scary to know. So when I do my work, I always pray before I start, asking for the highest, the purest, and the best, and protect me while I do this work. There was one time in Niagara-on-the-Lake, it's one of our oldest towns. It was part of the 1812 war. There was like Fort George and all that. We were defending our country against you guys.
Yeah, never ever get our, president cranky because you can have bad things happen, as we're finding out. Yeah. Oh dear.
So what was I going to say about this? How did I start out with this? Oh yes, I was walking through a cemetery, and
thing you shouldn't do.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore. And I went to my energy worker and she said, "What the heck is on you?" I said, "I don't know what." She said, "There's this woman with a veil. She looks like a bride. Were you at a cemetery recently?" And I went, "Yeah." She says, "She's with you." I said, "Wow, okay, maybe that's why I wasn't feeling so hot." Anyway, she was able to send her into the light, thank goodness. But yeah, cemeteries, bars I'm not good with either because of the energy. I'm not saying people don't do it. It's just those who are sensitized to this kind of work, go in protected before you go to places that have unusual energy. Yeah. Yeah. And haunted places. Oh boy, those are ghosts. Those aren't spirit. They're ghosts. And there are two kinds. There's those that are stuck in time. So they don't even see you. They keep doing the same thing in a continuous loop.
Yes, in a loop.
Yeah. And then there are others who are here on the earth plane for whatever reason. They love their home. I lived with Mrs. McPherson for 8 years in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. It was her home. We had to cohabitate. Yeah, she was lovely, but I didn't like her cooking at 2:00 in the morning. You could hear the pans rattling downstairs.
You're serious?
Oh. I'm serious. Oh, yeah. But she was fine. Like, we just cohabitated. She wasn't a ghost that was spooky or trying to, possess you or anything like that. She was just living her life. So she's probably still there. A beautiful farmhouse on 8 acres of water over.
Okay. When you sold the house for full price, did you tell the people you sold it to that it had a ghost?
I think we did. Yeah, I think we did. And what's really interesting,
sure.
I can't remember so many years ago. And I mean, this is my life, right? But her nephew was living down the road and he told us all kinds of things about her. She was a lovely woman.
Lovely, yeah. but a ghost. Right?
Yeah. Because she loved her home so much. Yeah. Dear Mrs. McPherson. Yeah. Yeah.
If you are ever going to die, never get attached inordinately to any piece of real estate on this level of reality.
No.
Because you could find yourself becoming attached posthumously as well, and that doesn't make any sense at all.
And that's what happened.
It is nice here as it is there.
hmm
That's
And
one
you can
thing.
have the same home in the other world. It's okay.
Yeah, you can think it into being very easily. You can have exactly the same home, although you won't want it because there's a lot nicer homes you can very easily have.
My mentor told me that your home is built by the good deeds you do here. Interesting.
Hmm,
Hmm
very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice
Lovely.
thought.
hmm So,
But,
yeah.
but
So,
let's finish what we were saying about not doing anything that can get you a living attachment that you are going to have to go to a lot of trouble to get rid of. Because you seriously can get
oh,
such an
yes.
attachment.
Yeah. Living proof happened to me. I had a girlfriend who had a child attached to her right leg. And the reason she recognized that was energetically, she felt like she was dragging her right leg because of the weight of this energetic being. She had it removed. She recognized it. She knew what she needed to do, but she must have been like, I know she worked in hospitals and it's possible that that's where she picked the energy up. And here's the thing. They're very innocent, loving beings, and they recognize that we recognize them on whatever level, right? So, not everybody's going to get this. So, you don't have to worry, pulling up the sheets over your head when you go to sleep at night. No, it doesn't happen that way. It's where you decide to walk through, be with, so
Yeah, I would avoid, especially older cemeteries. Um,
yes, yes, that's where I was.
yes.
Mhm.
And I mean, if you're going to a cemetery just because that's where they're doing an interment of a recently dead person, I wouldn't worry about that. But
No,
um, but just going, you're in Boston. Oh, look, here's a 1600s or 1700s cemetery. I would not go in there. No, I
no,
would
I
say,
wouldn't go to Alcatraz either.
No, no, no.
No, 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 no. I had one of my students go. I said, you better be cleaned up before you come back to class because I'm not keen on you going to Alcatraz and coming back
No.
to us. Yeah, yikes.
Yeah, right. Everybody who died there was somebody who had already committed horrible crimes, was put there for a reason, and died very angry, in the
hmm
throes of anger. You would never, ever want to go there.
No,
But we won't talk about that
no,
either. No, I mean, in the whole course of your life, you'll never have these problems as long as you don't court them.
don't court them. Yes, that's right.
And
Yeah.
that's all we need to say about that. But that would be actually a good topic for a blog post. I think I probably ought to write one about that.
Go for it. Actually, I've just, okay, speaking, here's something else, curses, right? I just
Go
had
for it.
somebody who wrote to me about thinking that they were cursed. I won't go in on about it because I don't want to kind of out them or anything like that. But the energy I got was that they were using this as a reason to explain their not great life.
Mm,
And so I wrote them and I said, I feel like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I think you really need to have some therapy on this to see what this curse is for you. Because you're much stronger than that.
yes.
So I don't know what happened to them. But I've had several people wanting me to take the curses off them. I can't. So I will tell them straight out, no, that's not something I can do for you. But this one just kind of hit me wrong. I don't feel it was a curse. I feel it was like somebody said something to him and, oh, that's a good idea. That's the reason why this, and this happened.
Yeah, yeah, I see what you mean. Yes,
Mm,
yes.
yeah. What's your idea on curse?
I have had at least, I think, two people email me and ask me if I would remove a curse.
hmm
And I said that I have no idea. I can't do that. I don't even know how I would recognize it.
hmm
Um,
hmm
I'm not psychic. which is how, that's my explanation for a lot of things. I
Right.
can't help you because I'm not psychic.
Right.
I think it's all in their minds. I mean, someone said to them, I'm going to put a curse on you. And if someone that you think could do it says it to you, then you think they did do it. But I
Right.
don't think the person was able to do it.
No, I just think you're much stronger than that. Don't fall into it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You can't, if you believe it, of course, then you just put it on yourself.
It's like self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the thought, I read this really beautiful passage about how your thoughts create your reality.
So much more than we realize.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you
So,
believe you are having a beautiful life, well, look at you. You certainly are.
and those people that are down on their luck and always, they seem to attract bad luck.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm,
I
Yeah.
think so very much we create our own beautiful lives.
That is so true. So we were talking about how I got into this. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to pick up from my grandparents, both sides, to me being 5 years old and just knowing stuff. So my mom glommed onto it.
It came on from it came down from both sides.
Yeah.
Did the family know that meant that it was very likely it was being carried in
Yeah,
the
they were
family?
very supportive. I was really lucky because inside the family, it was normal. But I realized if I talked about it outside of the family, it was woo-woo. So I shut that down during my high school years and stuff like that. But at 5 years old, I'd say stuff to my mother and she'd go, "Oh my God, Carolyn." No, no. And I said, "If you don't want to know, don't ask me." I mean, I was so certain. And, there's three of us and, two of us are full-time mediums and one of us is a multimillionaire and she has got the intuition for money. I didn't get that. She did.
So that's too bad.
Yeah. But I tell you, it's in the three of us. So, and then at age, what was it? The first reading I had, I was 17 or 18. I met my mentor, Sadie, when I was 20, and she trained me for 20 years. And she was no nonsense. It was like, say a prayer and get on with it. You do not have to meditate for 2 hours in order for you to get a message. Just meditate, say your prayer, get on with it. And that's how she taught me. And she was like, when she passed away, it was in 2001. I had this really strong urge. I had to go see her. I just had to go see her. And so we drove the hour and a half to see her. And when I finally got to meet her, the nurse at the desk said, "Who are you and why are you here?" And I said, "Well, I know Sadie." And she said, "Are you friend or family?" And I said, "Friend, but considered family." She goes, "Okay." So she takes me to her room and she's on a ventilator. She's asleep. So I thought, I'll just sit here with her. I won't wake her up. And within 2 minutes, her eyes open. And she proceeded, like she was coherent, no problem. She proceeded to give me a reading on her deathbed. And I looked around her room and it was painted beige, that institutional beige. And there are these huge oval mirrors. No, they were more this way. 3 rows all the way around her room. And I realized they were the spirit people waiting for her. Yeah. And I said, "Sadie, you'll be gone within a 2 or a 3. I was hoping weeks so I could come to see her. Well, it was within 12 hours. She had gone. I was the last person to talk with her. Yeah. And I was asked to do the eulogy. And to make a long story short, I found out last minute. So I said to her, "Sadie, wake me up. We got to write your eulogy." So she woke me up at 2 a.m. I said, No, 6 a.m. Please, not, I need to sleep. 6 a.m. on the dot. I don't use an alarm clock because I can use the spirit world to get me up. She had me up. I had the computer on. I wrote 3 pages on the computer of her eulogy. No grammar mistakes, no spelling mistakes, and there was only one thing that she had to add to make it complete, which she did. Much grumbling, but she did. I could hear her all the time. So I get to the funeral. I'm late because I didn't figure out the time properly to get there. And she's laughing. She's sitting beside me in the car and she's laughing. She said, "You're going to be late for my funeral." I said, "This is not funny." So we get to the funeral home and her son's like, his eyes are like big as saucers. He's thinking, "Where the heck is she?" And I got in and he said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Would you like to see her?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, I've already seen her." No, no, that's fine. Anyway, comes time to the eulogy. And I read what I wrote or what she wrote. And there were two little old ladies that came up to me later and they were part of her seniors group. She was the president and they came up and they said, "How do you know her so well? She was such a private woman." And I'm thinking, oh man, if you only knew. Yeah. And then we go to the I guess it's called the wake or afterwards, the kind of after party, she's calling it. And she was telling me the names of the people that I was meeting. And, I'd shake their hand and call them by name. And they're like, "How did you know that?" But she just thought it was hysterical. She just had such a great time. And we went to the cemetery. I went to when her coffin was put in the ground and stuff like that. And I promised her till the day I died, I would come back every year just to honor her. For 2 years, it worked. And every year after that, she had me busy. I couldn't get to I had to be in Lilydale or I had to be, somewhere else. And I could hear her in my head saying, "Life is for the living."
Oh, isn't she wonderful?
She's standing right here with me and laughing her head off. And she's also with me when I'm teaching. Some of my students can actually see her. Yeah. So, I've been corrected when I teach and stuff. But, that's the beauty of being a medium is that you really don't lose the connection with the ones that have passed.
Mm-hmm.
You're never alone. You're never alone.
Right.
That's a little bit about my life. And I don't think I had an option. I mean, I was an office administrator. And then the economy just bottomed out and there were no jobs. And I said, well, the only thing I can do is read for people. And that's how it started. And it never stopped.
Yes. Yes, of course.
So I'll do this until I can't. And I will.
Your story is universally the story of people in your situation.
Mm-hmm.
They get it from both sides. And whenever I talk with them as we're talking now, they always say, "I never had a choice. This is what I was born to do, and that this is what I've had to do."
Mm-hmm.
And it's always worked well, and they're always happy about it.
And I don't see it as a problem. I really don't.
Yeah.
I know when to talk about it and when not to talk about it. And there are some people that will never know what I do.
Yeah.
And they're good friends because I want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I would not we've never talked about it before, you and I, but I would not have been surprised at all to hear what your truth is, which is that you got it from both sides and you never really had a choice in the matter. You were always going to be a medium, a psychic medium as you are.
I think I chose my family for that reason.
Yeah.
Because we were brought up as this is normal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because my dad introduced me to Sadie, my mentor.
Yep. This is a universal story. Everybody with your life has your story.
Oh, I'm glad I don't feel so alone anymore.
See, it's just perfectly normal for you. Oh my goodness, we're going right past our time.
Oh, wow. Isn't that always the way?
And you told me we wouldn't be able to fill an hour, but we certainly have, my dear one. Absolutely. And a fascinating hour on top of it all. I'm so glad we did this.
Me too. Thank you so much, Roberta.
What do you want people to take from our time together?
Right now, there's a lot of difficulties and disruptions in our lives. for various reasons, whether it's political or personal. Just try to find the joy in something to keep the hope alive.
Yes.
My message today.
Thank you so much for that, because there is so much joy. And it is so easily found. It's sitting right there, right beside the love.
Mm-hmm.
You find the love, you have found the joy. It's so absolutely true, my darling. Well, I'll be right back. I'm just going to tell everyone who our guest next week is going to be.
Great.
This is one of the wonderful things about what I do, is that powerful women, beautiful women are finding me at this point, and they all want to be my guest, which is wonderful. So once again, my beloved friends, we've come to the end of our time together, and this has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. I'm very glad you could be with us today. I think it's been especially wonderful. Please never forget that you are a powerful, eternal being. You never began. You never will end. And when you really understand all the implications of that fact, it's going to change everything in your life for the better. Our guest next week will be Robin Vogel, M.A., and she is the author of a new book just out this month called Come Back to Love, A Path to Healing. It's due in February, due this month. And she is the host of the syndicated radio show of the same name, which is reaching more than 80,000 listeners in just its first year. Robin Vogel is an IFS-trained therapist. She's a couples therapist, and she's a trauma-informed love and intimacy coach. She has spent more than 2 decades helping individuals and couples to heal emotional wounds, release shame, and experience deeper, safer, and more fulfilling love, both within themselves and in their relationships. Love is what she's all about. So please be sure to join us next week, and we'll talk a lot more about love. And this week, our wonderful guest has been the long-standing, very dear friend of ours, of this program and of mine, Carolyn Molnar. She's been with us today for the 7th time, over a long period of time. Carolyn is a very good, genuine psychic medium, and you just found out why. Once again, when we probed a bit, we found out she gets it from both sides. She's really, being a psychic is what she's all about. She lives in Toronto, Canada. She has more than 45 years experience in this field, and by now she has a list of faithful clients that's worldwide. She also wrote, produced, and directed a one-man play. I think this is hysterical. It's called What? You're a Medium? Which I think is really wonderful, and that's now out in book form. We should also mention here, frankly, that actually I'm going to have her back here more frequently, but she knows a lot more about all these things than she has ever told me. So I'm excited to have her back again to talk more and more deeply about a lot of these other things. Our friend Carolyn Molnar is truly a very spiritual and a very beautiful person. Oh, okay. So we have totally talked off the end of our time. And now I only have time left enough to say this has been Seek Reality, which we continue to do every week, Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Please enjoy, please make the most of this coming week in our one reality, always knowing that you are a powerful, eternal being, much, much greater than you could possibly imagine. And you, most of all, you in this entire universe, you are infinitely, eternally, perfectly, and forever loved.
You've been listening to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Roberta blogs and answers questions at robertagrimes.com. Join us every week as we explore what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about the one reality we all share. Knowing the truth changes everything.